I'd like to open up this meeting, emergency school board meeting at 2:35 p.m. Mr. Poppy, do we have a quorum?
We do.
And I guess meeting was properly posted for an emergency meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. O'Brien.
Well, just wanted to update the board on what's transpired the past week. I know we've all been following the media outlets and seeing what's happening there, but I just wanted to catch you up with what's going on within the school systems across the Houston region. Yesterday, superintendents for the region had a conference call with the Commissioner of Education. The Commissioner of Education confirmed many of the things that we've heard through the media outlets, and his statement to school districts was that he would certainly understand if school districts wanted to extend their spring breaks or initiate closure upon returning from spring break. He would understand that completely and would authorize the means necessary to fund that and facilitate that. However, he did not make the recommendation to close schools at that conference. He just said that he would understand if local school districts wanted to use their local control to make those decisions. So it was relented back to the school districts to make the decisions. At that time, probably within an hour of that conference call completing, about 3 school districts announced their closure, and then within a few hours of that, the remaining about 90% of the school districts in the greater Houston area also announced their closure for this coming week. Now, some of them were going into spring break and announced a 2-week closure. I think a few of them did. But primarily, the information that was released was that the impact in the greater Houston area at this point with COVID is minor. It's not. There's not been as many cases locally as there have been in other areas, but he did go over the statistics with that and left the decision up to each local district. Following that conference call, we had another conference call with the Region 4 superintendents today. On that conference call was expected to be the governor as well, and rather than join us in the conference call, he preceded the conference call about an hour with a press release, and during that press release he also affirmed the understanding of school closures as a result of this epidemic, but did not ratify that personally. He said it was to be up to individual districts to make those decisions. So that's why after speaking with Mr. Laredo, I felt like it was necessary to call an emergency meeting to make this final decision. It would be the recommendation of administration at this time to pursue. Well, first of all, recommendation for you to acknowledge this is an emergency, and then following that to pursue the closure. It'd be administration's recommendation at this point to close only for the week, and then for us to utilize that time with a essential staff to determine the future course of the district following up middle of the week, towards the end of the week next week. We'd recommend that I meet with my executive staff early in the week and assess from there what our next steps would be. One of the outcomes from the first conference call with the Commissioner of Education was that there would not be, while the financial component would be taken care of through funding mechanisms, the learning still needed to transpire. So that's what we're trying to determine as executive team, how to implement the technological components of delivering instruction to students who are not at school. We believe that that will be possible. We know, I followed up with the 2 conference calls with a meeting with the city of Baytown, and just we know through statistical analysis about 85 to 90% of our community is tapped in to technology and has the ability to potentially receive that instruction. However, we'll have to accommodate a method or a modality to deliver instruction for that other 10% of the population. We are meeting this afternoon as an executive team to decide how best to do that. One of the things I would also like the board to know is we're also considering how to go about continuing to feed students, even though we may not be hosting schools. We anticipate, and like I said, we're still in the planning phases of this, We anticipate identifying not all campuses. Actually, it'll probably be about half of our campuses will be sites where students can do what we call grab and go. We would suggest that parents who are taking their children to the grab and go sites don't even need to get out of their car. They can just drive through the normal parent drop-off and receive the bag and leave. So we're trying to take all the precautions necessary, but also want to deliver the services that our public school delivers to our students throughout this epidemic. So we do not know at this time whether it will extend beyond a week, but at this point, we'd like to have board's consent permission to move forward with the closure for next school week, which I believe are listed in action items on this agenda.
Do we have a motion to close the schools to let administration?
Take them one action at a time. Go with action item 4A.
Okay, yeah.
Are we going straight into that, or are we going to discuss
we can
the
have
superintendent's
open discussions right
report?
now. We can have open discussions right now preceding those votes. But the vote that you were about to go to would be confirming administration's recommendation at this time. But
If there's any discussion, if y'all want to go ahead and have it.
Well, I mean, I meant concerning his executive summary under.
Yeah, no, right now would be the time to have that.
Okay, well, so obviously you guys met, what, yesterday or this morning?
both.
And to talk about what the action going forward was going to be, and then you plan on doing that again Monday?
Monday morning, I'll be meeting with the executive team only, and then we'll decide the essential staff members that may also be included to carry out execution of the plan, such as food service workers.
Food service workers.
Estimate approximately half staff for that. We will continue to do our cleaning of all facilities to sanitize and ensure the safe return, even though medical reports reflect that it has a life cycle of 6 to 12 hours, the virus itself. Without a carrier, it dies. So all of our campuses, having been closed for a week, should be 100% sanitized. Beyond that, we're going to go ahead and continue to sanitize throughout the week that we propose this next week to make sure and just provide all assurances that every single hard service as well as soft services are taken care of with the industrial strength and medical strength cleaners that we have employed.
Okay, and I know also a lot of questions surrounded like obviously if we're closed for a week, that the state's willing to give a waiver for, would that mean extending the school year or no?
No, at this point it would be treated like Harvey, like our last catastrophic event. It's a waiver the school districts will apply for, and that's where I said that the Commissioner of Education did demonstrate support by approving those waivers as submitted. He did not discuss length of time. He felt like it was a case by case, not only case by case, but based upon epidemics in the area and based upon the length of time that is requested.
Well, and with the governor's declaration of a state of
Correct.
emergency, then of course, it probably depends on how long that declaration is enacted. All right, so I know you talked about food service for the students who are kind of depending on that, and half the campuses like a grab and go. So y'all have a plan in place for
Being developed.
Being
And
developed.
let me clarify, all campuses will be covered. There will just be specific
right. They won't be open
locations.
at all locations, but all students.
Right.
Any kind of
For example, if there's a consolidation, the students at one campus will be notified where their pickup site is at another location.
how do y'all control that?
So, meaning how do we identify?
Yeah.
It'll be cluster groups, closest to closest.
No, I mean like when people drive through to pick up food.
They will present their IDs, their student IDs, when they pick up to the cafeteria workers, just like they would if they were walking through the line at their campus.
And then they have, of course, offered waivers to cover.
Yes.
USDA for the lunch.
For the food? Okay.
And beyond the two conference calls I referenced, we also attended a meeting this morning with the city of Baytown, and Dr. Duarte also attended a meeting at Transtar, and I believe Mr. Poppy was there as well. So you could report on anything that you were at that meeting that hadn't been covered already. I think the primary message that I'm getting from our elected officials is that we want to, even though this is unknown, uncharted territory, we don't want to have a state of panic. We want to have a state of calm and a state of assurance that we're doing all that we can do to protect our children and our community. And I concur with that.
I mean, a lot of it was pretty similar to kind of what you covered. With this thing, I kind of took away is just create calm. There's a lot of people panicking, doing things. We need to try to create calm as much as possible. I think doing the food drive, I'm assuming that's breakfast and lunch.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And trying to figure out ways to still support the students even when they're not beyond.
Pending your approval, I've got a letter prepared to go out this afternoon to all faculty and staff, and it will be posted to the website, also available to our community, so they'll see our intentions.
What does this mean to like faculty and staff that are not salaried?
So in regards to, there's two types of staff in that regard. One is hourly employee and one is administrative. So policy allows us to compensate hourly staff for coming in. That's what we call the essential crew. They will come in and receive additional funding, and that will be noted in my letter. Administrative staff will not be compensated financially for their service during a closed school session, but they may be compensated through compensatory time off. Those are the two measures by which we can take to support our employees for coming in and trying to be as prepared as we can for the students' return. Other questions?
Most of our, I guess, hourly people are service people, such as janitorial and everything. Will they be the ones who will be cleaning?
Yes, sir. Everyone who receives a paycheck now will continue to receive a paycheck. Let me be clear. Everyone receives their current paycheck going through this. That was the support that the Commissioner of Education provided, that through the Foundation School Program and the waivers submitted by the school districts, he will authorize that.
Does that include the hourly?
Everyone, yes. Every single person. So if they come in and work during this time, they will have additional funds, yes. And/or compensatory time. That's a good question. And it's something we have done in the past during other crises.
Yeah, on some of this, listening to the media, they were saying like metal tables, we have stainless steel and stuff, and we wipe them down. The life of this germ lasts longer, like 2 or 3 days.
Right, I've read this.
Yeah, instead of like 6 hours. A table like this may last 6 hours, but metal tables last.
Anything with a cooler temperature.
Right, would last longer than a regular table.
We are, one of the conversations I had this morning was with the mayor's cabinet and the president of Lee College. They're employing outside vendors to come in and do cleaning and sanitation at Lee College, is my understanding. That's not a direct report, but and we have employees that are skilled and trained to do so. However, the invitation was there to extend a courtesy effort on both of our entities to utilize that outside vendor if need be. So that is available to us should we employ that. That's what the administration will continue to have meetings. As I said, just a few key administrators have attended these meetings, myself included. When we meet collectively together this afternoon, we'll cover a lot of the bases that you have questions about and get those answered. And I'll be more than happy to report to the board any new findings that we have. But it's pretty much as we presented it to you today. I do have the letter if you'd like to, for me to read through that. It will answer some questions as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Dear Goose Creek CISD family, most often when a school closure is considered as due to a catastrophic weather or industry-related public emergency. In those cases, as with current public health emergency declared by our local officials, we do not take our responsibility for this decision lightly, as there are so many factors to consider. School officials have attended and teleconferenced into many official public safety meetings over the past week. Goose Creek CISD will be closed for the week of March 16th, 2020, including all school-related activities. A decision is pending for the following week and will be communicated to staff by email and/or telephone no later than 2 p.m. on Friday, March 20th. Given the many unknowns of COVID-19 coronavirus, including the length of time it can survive on hard surfaces, the district is not allowing access to school facilities unless you have been notified by or received permission from your direct supervisor. A plan for student meals is currently being formulated by which the grab-and-go format used during other school closures is likely. Locations for the meal pickup sites will be published on our district website as soon as they are available, with the first likely coordinated meal being set for Monday's lunch from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Breakfast will ensue the following day from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and both meal times will continue throughout the duration. Both grab-and-go meals will be handed off in designated student drop-off locations without the need for anyone to get out of the vehicle. Weather permitting, you should see the campus canopy set up outside the designated area. Inclement weather may push the pickup to the cafeteria location, where students will then grab and go. All employees will continue to receive base rate pay during this period. Hourly employees who are approved to work during this public health emergency will receive additional pay and may only report to work with the supervisory approval. Administrative employees approved to work may receive time compensative relief and may include only essential staff from the departments of business services, technology, human resources, curriculum, and operations. Their purpose is to plan for extended instructional delivery for our students, conduct business matters, as well as ensuring that all campuses are clean as we follow virus prevention protocols to reduce exposure to any potential contamination within our schools. Because this situation is fluid in nature, we ask that you regularly check your email, voicemail, and our website for the latest updates. We also continue to encourage effective habits of washing hands, covering coughs and sneezes using your hand sanitizer. These practices not only help prevent the spread of COVID-19, but also help prevent the spread of other infections that can lead to adult and student illnesses alike. A new type of illness can be unnerving. However, we will continue to use common sense and maintain composure during this uncertain time. As a district, we will remain engaged at all levels of information and communication, so you can rest assured that our efforts should provide some degree of confidence in our attempt to slow, possibly reduce the rate of or impact of this emergency event on our community. We will continue to do everything in our power to protect our students, staff, and the community, and want to thank you for your patience and understanding. Best wishes for you and your family during this extended time away from the norm. May you find opportunity to draw closer to one another as we abide by the safe practices recommended by our local officials of reducing our exposure to large gatherings. In warm regards.
Good night.
So, how many districts right now, besides these guys? Some of the ones I've heard,
Yesterday afternoon, many were doing throughout the afternoon and evening. I don't have an exact count, Mr. Chancellor. There's 49 school districts in Region 4, and then we have the surrounding areas beyond that. But I would estimate in the 90th percentile or above campuses have made the decision. I don't want to speak for them or all of them, but I know there's a handful that were waiting on today's governor's conference call and/or press release, which we were waiting. We were one of those waiting to see, and we can move forward with confidence that we're acting in unison with other districts who are just seeking to provide safety for our students and staff.
I think they mentioned in that conference that there are only 2 that are going to pass next week, that have already, that's HISD, because they're on right now anyway.
Yeah, some of them will break this.
And then Fort Bend are the only 2 that are going, that have already declared.
Yeah,
Till the
30th.
To the
30th, yeah, because
Nobody else.
they're just going on spring break, and then that'll give them time to do their cleanings and then a week off
Because they have confirmed cases in their
in their district, their area.
Yes.
I didn't go over all the statistics that we have
Yeah.
heard and learned about because they're easily accessible for you through the media. Every time a new case breaks, it's breaking news, and I suspect that our families will also keep up through media outlets. The only regret I have is that there is a sense of panic through the media outlets, and I don't know whether it's intentional or not. I don't have an opinion on that. It's just, as a school district, I'm always going to step back and measure everything out holistically, and my recommendations to you won't be based upon that. They'll be based upon the facts as they lay out, and we clearly would prefer to stay in school, and that's what we do best, is educate children. So that's our preference, and as soon as feasibly possible, we will return to the normal routine of educating children. The commissioner did not speak at length about assessment. He did not give any indication that the calendar would be adjusted at this point in time. I believe following the press conference yesterday, he received a lot of feedback, so that decision could be made in the near future. Where the STAR assessment calendar and end of course assessment calendar could be adjusted, whether it's adjusted a week or a few days or 2 weeks, I have no idea. But that information should be forthcoming in the near future.
Was it Galena Park or Deer Park that posted out, it was like a 4-page how to speak to your child about the situation. I don't remember which district it was, but it was posted on the Harris County Precinct 2 Facebook page. And that's something that I think would be nice to put out on our website, is how to explain to your child what's going on, how to address it.
We've been updating anything we get from CDC and the WHO. We go ahead and post it to our website.
Right, well, but that's like a
But this
cover
is
your
more
cough,
mental
wash your
health, yeah.
hands, etc.
Right.
This is from a psychology department. I can't tell you exactly which one it was right now, but addressing emotional and mental as well as the physical care during this time. I don't know if you, yeah, it was either Galena Park or Deer Park that put it out. because it
As a
because
resource-
of the sense
as a resource
of
for
panic
parents,
that's
right.
going on. I mean, obviously, even my adult children are a little confused. School closed? This is serious.
Right.
So it's how to relate to them. I don't know if I can find it or not, but something like that on our webpage would also be helpful for people who are panicking and buying all toilet paper.
What is, you know, when we send out the alerts on cell
Iris?
phones? Now, because some people may not have a computer, and if something like that can be sent out to everybody, then maybe we can just alert people that school, whatever.
Absolutely, we will do that as well. That's part of our protocol. All right, with that, I'd recommend we move to the action items.
4A, consider and take possible action regarding the declaration of an emergency and urgent public necessity because of COVID-19. Need a motion here.
Move to approve to declare the emergency and urgent public necessity.
I have a motion by Ms. Guy, second by Mr. Carter. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4. 4B, consider and take action regarding closure of school and related issues, which right now is, the plan is to close next week and wait for further recommendation of any time further than that.
Some districts could, just for discussion, some districts could make a decision early in the week. On the last conference call, they said they could make a decision on Monday about the following week. I would suggest we wait until middle of the week until we have more information. And my team has had a chance to assemble and make decisions for our curriculum instruction and payroll and all the operational aspects of this. And then the administration will have a recommendation to you, in my opinion, by midweek.
A motion by Mr. Carter,
I'll second the motion.
second by Ms. Woods. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 0 against. And finally, consideration of resolution approving compensation of faculty and staff due to emergency closure of district.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Woods, second by Mr. Poppy. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 0 against. And I do want to recommend everybody that obviously take precautions as needed, but in addition to that, to kind of keep your lines open in case we do have to have another emergency board meeting next week, which sounds like we might just be an update. Hopefully it's just an update, but just in case we do have to do anything else, please be available.
And I would like to close by congratulating Mr. Clem couldn't be here. He sends his regrets, but his wife had a successful procedure, and congratulations on that.
I want to thank Dr. O'Brien. I know we had to cut his vacation a little short. I want to thank you for you and the staff that's been.
It's the leadership of my whole team that's enabled us
Monitoring
to
and working on
do
this, yeah,
yes.
the whole week.
I know a lot of people have been on social media. I want to remind you that part of your take is make sure people, no matter what decisions you make, when you make them, people are going to be unhappy. I mean, there's people that have already posted they're unhappy if we close school. People unhappy if we don't close school. Just remember that comes with the job. That's why we get paid all that money, right?
They're unhappy that we're keeping it a secret.
Yeah. Just assure that you guys know that this is not an easy decision for anybody. You know, I think a lot about our kids. And, you know, fortunately I have kids that are older, but like I think about like advanced kids that are younger and their friends who may not know what's going on. And their parents may not have the ability to talk to them because they have to work, and there's a lot of other things happening within the family structure that I worry a little bit about the online instruction, just because we do have parents that don't have internet access. I know that I have fortunately I'm part of the organization that has free internet, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about is how we approach our community, because I know I live in an area that has economic, a little bit lower SCS. But, you know, we have to be very positive in this time and work as a team. And I just want to say I'm very blessed to be able to be a part of this team that works together.
To assemble a board that can come together within an hour's notice, and it would be 100% outside of a medical appointment that was already scheduled for Mr. Clem's wife.
And I appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all as well. And on that note, for accessibility, just so you'll know, all of our campuses have Wi-Fi. Right. So students who may not have it in their home would be able to, and they do have a device, would be able to go near one of our buildings. We also will unroll with our plan for the future about other points of access, including, as I spoke with the mayor this morning, potentially the public library. We need to confirm all that, but our other access points within the school district that will not create large audiences, but yet allow students to come and go as they wish to use technology.
Well, and that's something that the governor mentioned as well, that he's working with. I know AT&T has, done away with their data limits for all of their customers. Hopefully they'll get other internet companies to do the same so that people can work remotely, students, adults, et cetera. So that's something that we can keep up to date on and keep our community apprised of.
We will do it. I have another conference call to go to. I'd love to hang around and chat.
Thank you.
I want
Thank
to
y'all
close
very
this
much.
emergency board meeting at 3:04 p.m. Y'all have a great day.